while back, I started a neat little project. I was making these little grill covers for the oil cooler that goes underneath on the. This is my 1977 MGB, and this is a chrome bumper conversion. So it's not like your typical MG. As a matter of fact, this grill is aftermarket as well. It looks like some of the other 70s, late 70s MGBs that had chrome bumpers. This is a 74 chrome bumper. And so when I put this on there, I was like, you know what? I really don't like that just being a hole. So I 3D printed these grill covers. I've been selling these on eBay for $30 for a pair, not just $30 a piece, but a pair of these. They're not completely symmetric. There is a left side and a right side. There's so anyway, I've been selling these for $30 on eBay, and they've been fun to make. They take about 36 hours to 3D print. But the other day I had one that failed, and it didn't print all the way through. So I was inspired. Well, what could I put on top of that one, because it ran out of filament halfway through here. What can I put on top of it? And then I started looking at aesthetically what this looks like. Okay, so you have a black grill with a chrome surround. Why don't I try to make a black grill with a chrome surround on one of these little grill plates that I've been making? So I've not been completely successful. Let me show you the iterations that I've gone through. All right, here's the standard ones, and you can see they're a little bit wider in the center. They go together like this. And when you put them end to end the other way, you can see it's a bit more pronounced, that it's definitely thinner on one end than it is on the other. But anyway, this was the inspiration. This was the fail. On the typical one, you can see they print out and they have a little rounded edge, and they look pretty nice. This one, I tend to weigh how much filament that I have left, so that I know if I have 100 grams of filament left, I can print it. Well, something happened on this one. I didn't weigh it right, or maybe the spool was a different weight or something, and it came short. So that was when I was inspired to see, well, maybe I can make something that I can rivet, or if it was plastic, I would go ahead and just make little studs and then, smash them off or melt them on the backside. That was the idea. Now, my first impulse was, well, let's see if I can find something that is 3D printable that I can make it look like chrome. So I bought some special 3D printed material. This is 60%, here we go. Yeah, 60% stainless steel in a PLA bond. So my little Ender 3, I would have had to replace the nozzle if I did these commercially, if I continued to print a bunch of these. But for this test case, I bought it. It was a spool of this stuff. I don't even think it was a full kilogram. It was $45, so it's significantly more expensive than just your typical plastic that you would buy, even the ABS or anything. It was a composite material, and it was advertised as being polishable. And you can see, yeah, it does polish, but when you put them on, let's see if I got this the right direction. Here we go. It just didn't seem to pop. It wasn't bright enough. It was gray versus black, but it was kind of a dull gray. And I suppose I could spend a little more time and polish it, and it would get even shinier, but it still wasn't going to change the color. And so it just didn't seem like it was going to pop. I mean, it just looks like a different shade of the same thing that's there. And even the reflection on the shiny parts of the black are about the same color as this. So this was kind of a fail. And I spent the money, I played with the stuff, and I'll probably find a good purpose for this. Now this is harder than most typical plastics. It's not pliable. It's very, very rigid. So, if you were going to use this for something, I would say if you had a mechanical, like a gear or something that you were going to 3D print, this would probably take a little graphite, and it would be something that you could lubricate with graphite, and you'd get some good play out of it, as opposed to, having to go all the way to a nylon gear or something like that. So you could still print this with an Ender 3. Anyway, that's a fail. So the next thing that I tried was directly chrome plating a piece of plastic. So I printed one of these out, and I painted on the ridge here with some electrically conductive paint. So they actually sell paint for for electronics. If you're trying to fix a circuit board, you can get this paint that is electrically conductive. And you can see I painted up onto the edge here and was able to get, you can't get plastic, you can't get nickel to adhere to plastic, but you can get copper to adhere to nickel. So my attempt here was to paint this with electrically conductive paint and then run a copper circuit through here with some copper sulfate and a couple of anodes. And you can see this is what the anodes look like after the attempt. Anyway, that was a fail. I tried it twice. I got a little bit better on this one because I put the anodes in the center instead of the ends. On this one, it was just on the end, and it only picked up on the end. So I figured, well, let's put it in the middle and see if we can get it to broadcast a little more. And it just didn't take. So this was a fail. Neat idea. I think it would be cool. So today I'm going to give it my last attempt. This is a piece of copper tubing, and this is just a prototype, mind you. You can see it's kind of lumpy here and there. But the idea here is I took a piece of 1/4 inch copper tubing, and I am going to I'm going to polish this up, and then I'm going to nickel plate the copper. It's really easy to nickel plate copper. I think I got this backwards again. It's so easy. Yeah, there we go. And again, this is just a prototype. It's not a perfect shape, and some of this I just did it by hand. I actually with my fingers bent this as best I could to keep it from creasing. But if this prototype works out and this test works, then we'll do another video on how to do a jig to bend copper tubing. So that would be kind of a fun video as well. So let's go ahead and get this thing in the dip. I have a number of different types of plating that I've been playing with. This bigger one here is the nickel plating. So let's get this in a dip and get some voltage on it, and check back on a couple hours and see if we can get this thing to turn from this copper, which if you just put the copper on there, you polished it up, it would look coppery, it would look really nice, but it would corrode. And we don't want that. It would turn all green. But when you put nickel on it, the nickel will prevent it from corroding or oxidizing, and the nickel will be nice and shiny. It's not chrome plated, it'll be nickel plated, but you can polish the nickel up and it will look very bright. A lot brighter than this stainless steel composite. Disappointed that wasn't as polishable as it was advertised. So I'm going to go ahead and polish this up, and then we'll get it in the dip. We'll check back in. Pretty shiny. There we go, all polished up. Nice and shiny. And on the back side, I ran a couple of screws into some holes, and I've wired up some safety wire to suspend it. You can see it won't sit on the floor, but it will be suspended above these anodes. These are nickel, and I have a nickel solution that I'm going to fill up in here, and then we'll get the electrics running. We'll see. This is what it's going to look like once it's in place. See, nothing touches, just hovering over the tops. And we just want to get the nickel on this plate to through electrolysis to leave that plate and get onto the copper. And that's the plan here. So let's go ahead and get this thing wired up and get it bubbling. There we go. Frankenstein's plating project is underway. You can see we have the positive pole coming off of the battery transformer here. Used to be a laptop transformer. And so the positive comes off of that, goes to the anodes. I got those weighted down with a little bolt to keep them so that they don't move around. And everything is spaced out really nice. None of the little feet are touching anything. You see it's already starting to bubble a little, but it was bubbling before that because this solution is basically vinegar and nickel from a previous plating project. The green is the nickel that you see in there. So we'll let that cook for a little while and see if we can turn this thing from the copper color to a nice bright shiny nickel. And then if that proves that looks good, then we'll make some more of these and we'll start bending them out. So just a little prototype test case. So let me check back in a couple of hours, maybe an hour and a half, and see where we're at. All right, so well, after about 90 minutes, most of the orange has left the copper. It's kind of getting a gray tinge to it. Now, I only polished the underside. I didn't polish the backside. So what you're looking at here is a lot of fingerprints and, corrosion that was on the copper. I'm going to give it another 30 minutes, maybe another hour, and then we'll flip it over and see what the backside, the shiny side, looks like. Okay, well, I would call this a partial success. Not a complete failure like all the other attempts, but I wanted to hold it up next to some actual chrome or polished stainless. Because nickel has a little bit different color than the chrome, but I think that that's pretty close. Now, what you'll notice about this effort is the nickel plating only took where it was directly over the anode. The places in the middle where I kind of expected it to migrate to, it just didn't get over there. So, like right here, you can see there's still plenty of copper in there. So, yeah, I'm going to call this a partial success and move forward with trying to plate one of these completely. But this is, like I said, just a feasibility test. And I wanted to see, so it's not really that accurate. Let me go ahead and put it on a mock-up and see if you can see what it would look like in place. Okay, so there we go. I got one. I took that little test piece and I wired it into place so you can see kind of what it would look like if you had a piece of chrome down there instead of just a black grill. I think they both look nice. I'm not certain that the effort that you'd have to go through to get that all chromed up would be worth it. I mean, you'd probably have to spend. I mean, if I were to make these and put them on the market, I'd have to probably charge more than $150, probably about $150, just because of the labor and the materials and the amount of time that it takes to make one individually. But I'm going to go ahead and make a set of these for myself, so I'll be unique. Yeah, no, that's not why I'm doing it, but it'll be fun. So follow and subscribe. Check back. I'm going to do another video on how to make a a jig to bend copper pipe so that I can make a couple of these and I don't have to do it manually. And if somebody wants one, I'll figure out a way that I can make one for you so you can get some nice chrome bits underneath there. I think that looks a lot better. Get a nice look at that. Obviously, it won't be sticking out because I just got it sitting on top of the other one, but I think that looks pretty cool. All right, well, that's all I got for you on this project. Make sure you follow and see the follow-on project when we get the next one going. Cheers.